The story comes to us from Fox13now.com. When Moab, Utah police received a 911 call about a boy left in a car, the responding officers activated their body cameras late. Then after about 2.5 minutes, one officer turned off his audio, and it's from the second officer's camera that you can hear the father receive a misdemeanor citation for child abuse. State Judge Don M. Torgerson, according to audio from the August 30th hearing, was quoted as saying, "My experience with Moab PD is long and varied. There has been a history there with some officers who have quite a reputation of misusing their body camera equipment." Duh. He goes on, "and it's been an institutional problem. From my perspective, officers need to check their body cameras the same way they would check their firearms or their tasers." Amen, Judge. Torgerson was weighing a defense motion to dismiss the charges because the body cameras failed to capture the entire episode. The judge's decision and warning has caught the attention of law enforcement across southeast Utah.
There has been a history there with some officers who have quite a reputation of misusing their body camera equipment.
A Utah father was cited for child abuse. So why did a Utah judge admonish the police? Well, it has to do with body cameras.
And it has implications for law enforcement in southeast Utah. Fox 13 News investigative reporter Nate Carlisle explains what happened.
On February 23rd, police in Moab answer a 911 call for a 6-year-old boy left in a car outside a grocery store. The father was cited with misdemeanor child abuse, but the officer's cameras weren't on for the entire encounter. And as you'll hear from the judge, it wasn't the first time.
I tried asking him to come inside.
Again, why didn't one of you stay with him then?
Counselor, where's the other kid at?
My experience with Moab PD is long and varied. And there has been a history there with some officers who have quite a reputation of misusing their body camera equipment. And it's been an institutional problem.
That's State Court Judge Don M. Torgerson, seen here before he was appointed to the bench, addressing a defense motion to dismiss the case.
From my perspective, officers need to check their body cameras the same way they would check their firearms or their tasers.
The judge says, if I do see these kinds of motions in the future where body cameras have been turned on and turned off and not charged and not activated, there's likely to be some traction in my court for spoliation motions just because I think Moab Police Department has a history that lacks quality oversight. Amen! He says, I'm going to dismiss the case. Torgerson sits on the bench in San Juan County, too. Its county attorney, Kendall Laws, said he shared the judge's ruling and admonishment with the law enforcement he works with so they understand the importance of using body cameras properly. That's why cop watchers are out there, because I use my camera properly. I record from start to finish, and I don't make it a narrative. I don't turn it off at certain moments. You'll see me edit things out, but usually that's the, cop standing there writing, and we're like, when the cop's interacting with people, that has to be recorded, or that has to be in the video. My bird is applauding. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, bird.
Kendall Laws is the prosecutor in neighboring San Juan County. Since Torgerson sits on the bench in his county, too, he's used the judge's ruling to educate local police.
Do you want law enforcement from San Juan County responding on calls with Moab PD at this point?
In a rural area, you got to take backup wherever you can get it in today's world. But as far as getting down to the bare bones of an investigation, I would much rather rely on the investigative skills of my departments as opposed to Moab PD.
The father told police his son wanted to stay in the car.
I don't give a if he wanted to stay in there. He's like 6 years old, dude.
It was about 6 at night. The temperature was approximately 48 degrees. Video shows the boy wearing a hoodie.
Your son was screaming when I got here.
You don't hear screaming on the video.
Going on. Laws said Wednesday, I have personally never seen a judge lump an entire police department into a category. That's the prosecutor from the other county. Laws said peace officers from San Juan County sometimes must call Moab for backup or vice versa. He went on, but as far as getting down to the bones of an investigation, I would much rather rely on the investigative skills of my departments as opposed to Moab Police Department. Moab Police Chief Brett Edge declined an interview request, of course. The father of the 6-year-old boy and the father's attorney declined to make a statement. The call arrived February 23rd from a passerby in a grocery store parking lot at about 6 p.m. The temperature was about 48 degrees, and video shows the boy wearing a hooded sweatshirt. The father told the police his son wanted to stay in the car, and you hear the officer yelling,
I don't give a if he wanted to stay in there. He's like 6 years old, dude.
That's what the cop said. He's like 6 years old, dude. Hang 10. The second officer says at one point, I actually forgot to turn on my video until we stood right there, but at least I've got it on now. And what good does that do?
In fact, the two officers who responded didn't turn their body cameras on until the father comes back to the parking lot.
I actually forgot to turn on my video until we stood right here, but at least I got it on now.
Then one officer's audio stops recording after about 2.5 minutes. You can still hear him on the second officer's camera.
Just on a spike.
Utah law says police are to turn on body cameras prior to any encounter or as soon as reasonably possible, and that the recording is to continue in an uninterrupted manner until the encounter ends or for a handful of approved reasons, such as consulting with another officer.
If I ever go back up on a call with one of your kids in a situation like this, I will take your kids to the Christmas box house myself, and you will go to jail.
Christmas Box House is the local children's shelter. While Torgerson didn't specify what other Moab police cases concerned him, records show he presided over the drug case Fox 13 told you about earlier this year. In that episode, prosecutors dismissed the charges when an officer's body camera didn't match his written report. That officer has since resigned.
But, you know, these cops, when they walk by me sometimes, I'm sitting there recording, they go, yeah, I got a body camera too. Yeah, but mine's always on. And my audio is always on. I don't turn mine off when something happens and go, I won't get that, officer. And in fact, if somebody starts punching on a cop, I'm not going to turn it off then either. Two wrongs don't make a right. Two wrongs are still two wrongs. So yeah, we're out there to hold the police accountable and transparent, but I'm also holding the civilian or the civilian citizen accountable and transparent. We can't jump up and down and scream cops are liars, and then lie on the cop and say, well, yeah, he did this when he didn't do it. No, I'm going to say, no, he didn't do that. You're a liar.
Utah, in this case, is part of a trend across the country of judges trying to address concerns that video is missing.
Mary Phan is a University of Washington law professor who has written a book about police body cameras.
If judges are starting to have a real concern about patterns or practices, then I think it's time for the department to sit down and figure out what's going on.
The father and his lawyer declined to comment. Moab Police Chief Brett Edge also declined interview requests. In the studio, Nate Carlisle, Fox 13 News, Utah.
I'm keeping my integrity. No matter how much I may distrust law enforcement, or how much I may go, you know what, I just don't trust cops all the way, I'm still going to keep my integrity. You can't lie on a cop and then say, well, all cops are liars. Well, why you are a liar? Two wrongs don't make a right. Two wrongs is two wrongs. What do you all think? You let me know in the comment section below.